Many a book is like a key to unknown chambers within the castle of one's own self. A book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us. Youth is happy because it has the capacity to see beauty. Anyone who keeps the ability to see beauty never grows old. Don't bend, don't water it down, don't try to make it logical, don't edit your own soul according to the fashion. Rather, follow your most intense obsessions mercilessly. I write differently from what I speak differently from what I think differently from the way I ought to think, and so it all proceeds into deepest darkness. I am free, and that is why I am lost. The first sign of the beginning of understanding is the wish to die. I cannot make you understand. I cannot make anyone understand what is happening inside me. I cannot even explain it to myself. The meaning of life is that it stops. All language is but a poor translation. I think we ought to read only the kind of books that wound and stab us. Slept, awoke, miserable life. Nothing unites two people so completely, especially if, like you and me, all they have is words. By believing passionately in something that still does not exist, we create it. The non-existent is whatever we have not sufficiently desired. I have the true feeling of myself only when I am unbearably unhappy. Writing is utter solitude, the descent into the cold abyss of oneself. There is an infinite amount of hope in the universe, but not for us. It's only because of their stupidity that they're able to be so sure of themselves. Love is that you are the knife which I plunge into myself. Better to have and not need than to need and not have. I do not speak as I think, I do not think as I should, and so it all goes on in helpless darkness. The right understanding of any matter and a misunderstanding of the same matter do not wholly exclude each other. In man's struggle against the world, bet on the world. He is terribly afraid of dying because he hasn't yet lived. You are at once both the quiet and the confusion of my heart. This tremendous world I have inside of me. How to free myself and this world without tearing myself to pieces. And rather tear myself to 1,000 pieces than be buried with this world within me. It certainly was not my intention to make you suffer, yet I have done so. Obviously it never will be my intention to make you suffer, yet I shall always do so. Beyond a certain point there is no return. This point has to be reached. First impressions are always unreliable. I have spent all my life resisting the desire to end it. We photograph things in order to drive them out of our minds. My stories are a way of shutting my eyes. I miss you deeply, unfathomably, senselessly, terribly. You can hold yourself back from the sufferings of the world. That is something you are free to do, and it accords with your nature, but perhaps this very holding back is the one suffering you could avoid. Just think how many thoughts a blanket smothers while one lies alone in bed, and how many unhappy dreams it keeps warm. Written kisses don't reach their destination, rather they are drunk on the way by the ghosts. From a certain point onward there is no longer any turning back. That is the point that must be reached. God gives the nuts, but he does not crack them. All I am is literature, and I am not able or willing to be anything else. My guiding principle is this: guilt is never to be doubted. It would have been so pointless to kill himself that, even if he had wanted to, the pointlessness would have made him unable. The limited circle is pure. The Kafka Paradox. Art depends on truth, but truth, being indivisible, cannot know itself. To tell the truth is to lie. Thus the writer is the truth, and yet when he speaks he lies. Last night I dreamed about you. What happened in detail I can hardly remember. All I know is that we kept merging into one another. I was you, you were me. Finally you somehow caught fire. I dream of a grave, deep and narrow, where we could clasp each other in our arms as with clamps, and I would hide my face in you, and you would hide your face in me, and nobody would ever see us anymore. I'm tired, can't think of anything and want only to lay my face in your lap, feel your hand on my head and remain like that through all eternity. Was he an animal, that music could move him so? He felt as if the way to the unknown nourishment he longed for were coming to light. They're talking about things of which they don't have the slightest understanding, anyway. It's only because of their stupidity that they're able to be so sure of themselves. Believing in progress does not mean believing that any progress has yet been made. People label themselves with all sorts of adjectives. I can only pronounce myself as nauseatingly miserable beyond repair. There are two cardinal sins from which all others spring: impatience and laziness. You are at once both the quiet and the confusion of my heart. Imagine my heartbeat when you are in this state. Sleep is the most innocent creature there is, and a sleepless man the most guilty. Logic may indeed be unshakable, but it cannot withstand the man who is determined to live. The person I am in the company of my sisters has been entirely different from the person I am in the company of other people. Fearless, powerful, surprising, moved as I otherwise am only when I write. Do you know, darling? When you became involved with others you quite possibly stepped down a level or two, but if you become involved with me, you will be throwing yourself into the abyss. Even the merest gesture is holy, if it is filled with faith. I am too tired, I must try to rest and sleep, otherwise I am lost in every respect. What an effort to keep alive. Erecting a monument does not require an expenditure of so much strength. Every revolution evaporates and leaves behind only the slime of a new bureaucracy. I have hardly anything in common with myself, and should stand very quietly in a corner, content that I can breathe. What I write is different from what I say is different from what I think is different from what I ought to think, and so it goes further into the deepest darkness.